definitely, but I'm personally so excited for this round because two of some of my great friends are sitting on the winning table here.
Friends.
Ooh, friends, friendship, Pokemon friend. But we see here Thomas Elliot Jones, who we'll refer to as Elliot, and Luke Doran on the right. But I personally, of course, know Elliot. I know how much work he's put into this. He's so dedicated every weekday down at his locals, you know, taking on the competition. He prepares, you know, he's so dedicated to the cause, and I'm really excited to see what he's got in store for us.
And he's going to kick things off. He's got a couple Charmander early on and has Battle VIP passes, holding on to Technical Machine Evolution as well. Quick note on those prize cards, the Squawker Billy EX, which is only a one-of copy for Luke, was in those prizes. That can really stunt the explosive nature of the Entei EX Iron Valiant EX deck. So that could be something that we have to try and navigate. Of course, we'll have a supporter at least to draw a handful of cards, as Elliot is getting their first deck search done here. And we must note that Elliot is playing a Technical Machine Evolution build of Charizard rather than the Pidgeot EX. So a little bit less stable in terms of cherry-picking cards. But you do have some higher hit point Pokemon, and Elliot's actually playing a 70 hit point Bidoof in the deck list as well, which could help out.
Yeah, it could definitely come in.
There it is.
Relevant against this Iron Valiant, of course. Hitting those 20s, you know, maths doesn't quite hit right against this 70 HP Bidoof for Luke. But here we see the Battle VIP pass. Strong start for Elliot in his first turn. But interesting, you know, you mentioned the Squawker Billy really hinders the explosive nature of the Iron Valiant deck. It could play a big part here in the first couple of turns for Luke. He's going to hope to get off to a very good start, you know, start getting those Tachyon bits down early, especially against the high hit point of the Charizard EX. And we see here a manual attachment for Elliot.
The final action for Elliot's turn. Let's pass things over to Luke and see what can come together. It's not only the Tachyon bits we have to be concerned about, but it's also working towards that initial knockout. This deck does offer early pressure in terms of attacking pressure, thanks to Magma Basin plus turn attachment as well. So we'll see how that comes together. The Yoga Loop has already sort of been mitigated via the Jirachi on Elliot's side of the field. So it's going to have to be a ton of Tachyon bits and then looking to get some basic energy in the discard pile. This hand is looking really good, but it could use a Squawker Billy. That would have been the thing that opens up this hand quite substantially, actually, and it's not in the deck.
He needs a way of getting rid of some fire energy into the discard to be able to utilize that Magma Basin, as you said, to get off to that really, you know, positive start. Start packing a punch early, start adding the pressure, because that Charizard EX, you know, it can come up turn 2 for Elliot, but he may want to go down that technical machine evolution route. But who knows what our players have in store.
It leaves this Battle VIP pass will be a lot weaker. It'll be a couple Iron Valiant, and then it's a Colress, I think, for Luke as his only supporter option in the hand. So I don't think there's an easy way for Luke to get an early KO on a Charmander or a Bidoof. I just don't think it's happening. The hand hasn't aligned properly unless Colress is exceptional. Yeah,
it needs to definitely produce some strong switch outs maybe from the Colress. He needs a lot of combination pieces to get an attack off this first turn, but here we see the Battle VIP pass come down, opting for 2 Iron Valiant by the looks of it.
One thing worth noting about the matchup, with Luke playing the Technical Machine Devolution, you can have these slower turns. You're allowed it. You're allowed to set up damage across multiple Pokemon and then have this swing turn where multiple Charmander are picked up all at once. The Bidoof could also be targeted as well, and then multiple prizes can come in that regard, whilst also wiping the field of attackers. So that's something that is still available for Luke. It's not all over now that they didn't have an explosive turn 1.
Yeah, he'll be wanting, well, Elliot will be wanting to evolve these Charmanders into a Charmeleon if he's wanting to mitigate that play. But here we see the Colress come down.
Forest Hill Stone's looking good, and it's a lot of switch cards. Cart,
switch, Boss.
I feel like Boss has to go here.
Yeah.
Forest Hill Stone is obviously live with Entei.
If he was able to get an attack off, this would have been a really, really good hand here.
I'm stunned if this Forest Hill Stone is hitting the Lost Zone.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, bold move. 3 switch cards for Luke Doran
that
into
is
the hand.
That is really bold. We are trying to get as many Valiants in as possible. But it leaves us in this situation where we need to draw from fleet-footed if we're going to get anything else done this turn.
Yeah, and here we see the first Tachyon bits going on to the Charmander on the bench.
One cool play you can do, obviously, by not taking KOs initially, is that your Entei and Valiant are bulky, so you can tank a hit here.
Big knockout there.
Oh, it was a knockout on Charmander.
Yeah,
oh, of course,
knockout.
It's a 60 hit pointer.
Yeah, 60 HP on that Charmander.
Yeah, the promo is the 60 hit pointer. You're right.
So although wasn't able to get the attack off necessarily, Luke Doran applying pressure early on here.
And with only one prize card taken,
yeah.
you can use your free retreat now thanks to Future Booster Energy Capsule. You get one fleet-footed now and one fleet-footed next turn as well. It's just another energy. That's pretty unfortunate.
Jet energy there as well.
Getting rid of the Forest Seal Stone just for pure tempo was a surprise, but does allow you to take an initial knockout and leave Elliot on less resources really to work with here.
Yeah, and here we see the Arven coming down. If he's able to get an attack off, with that one prize being taken by Luke Doran, if he's able to match that with a knockout on this Entei, and there comes the Defiance Band and the Rare Candy.
Wow. An insta response on the Entei EX thanks to the Defiance Band pickup. Rare Candy into Charizard EX. Elliot is going to springboard back with a 2-prize knockout here, punishing Luke's early aggression.
Yeah, what a response here from Elliot.
I think there's even Ultra Ball for Bibarel after this as well.
Yeah, refreshing the hand slightly with Industrious Incisors. But here we see Defiance Band coming down, Ultra Ball.
Fresh 5 cards.
Fresh 5 cards.
From Bibarel. That is exceptional for Elliot here.
Santa came early for Elliot with that Bibarel, Industrious Incisors. Drawing up to 5 cards, like you mentioned. He's going to hope to get some maybe second attackers on board.
Yeah.
Maybe start setting up some Charmanders onto the bench.
The good news for Elliot is the remainder of his Charmanders are 70 hit pointers. He just happened to have the 60 hit point one in his opening hand. But he is playing that one full art, the Trainer Gallery Charmander, which was KO'd, but then we have a promo Charmander as well as another 70 hit point one. So do we see any Charmander from that 5?
No,
just
I don't
energy
believe so.
cards.
Just some energy, Rare Candy. I believe there was a Charizard as well.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
Still has turn attachment. If you want to attach to Jirachi, you can. I feel like you probably would have done it via Charizard EX anyway. It's going to go on to a Bibarel. That's interesting.
Yeah, maybe looking for a late pivot option.
Just going to be the 240 thanks to
Just
the Defiance Band and 1 KO from Luke last turn. Elliot wants to be on this prize race, wants to just make the game 2 more turns.
Yeah.
And Luke really has to do something about this.
Really wants to, keep up with the prize race, take those big knockouts. Wants to go for kind of that 2-2-2 approach to the game with only 2 more attacking turns. And here we see Colrus.
Yeah, let's not forget that was off the top, the Colrus, I believe, or off the prizes, one of the 2.
Keeping himself in the
Luke
game.
only had energy otherwise, so that's a big pickup.
Yeah, keeping himself in the game.
Even more jet energy now coming into the hand, more switch cards. Does have the Forest Seal Stone as well.
Magma Basin now live, of course.
That's true from the attachment on the previous turn. So an Entei can swing, possibly using some Iron Valiant to damage Jirachi, get that in range. Or you start damaging Bidoof and just really put yourself in a position where you need to hit your TM Devolution on the following turn.
I'm really interested to see how Luke approaches this matchup, right? He's got Jirachi on the bench. Elliot's teched for this matchup, it looks like, negating the Yoga Loop in the later turns. I'm really intrigued as to how Luke approaches this, because with a 330 HP Pokemon in front of him, it's going to be
Entei's
difficult.
coming straight up here.
Entei coming straight up.
Not spending any of the switching cards that were in hand.
And it's still within knockout range.
Not even freely retreating to get a Tachyon Bits in this turn.
Yeah, still within knockout range as well.
Can you switch card to heal your Entei now that Defiance Band is no longer live? So I think that's the crucial reason here. Getting the heal of the Magma Basin puts Entei back out of range of a KO from Radiant Charizard, so you can just punch into it now. Tachyon Bitting, possibly the Bidoof here I like most. It's going to be the Jirachi though.
Jirachi, yep.
Opening up Yoga Loop is, of course, intentional.
Nest Ball coming down here.
I feel like it's just going to be, getting the Radiant Charizard back up. This is the only 1 prize Pokemon in the entire deck. It's used to offset so nicely the prize race.
Yeah, fits into the game plan nicely. you know, makes Elliot think, how am I going to approach this? How am I going to get around this single prize attacker with such a large attack? With that combustion blast doing 250 where possible.
Does Luke go for a proactive Forest Seal Stone here? Everything else in his hand is energy. The hand is really poor without this Forest Seal Stone. Do you proactively grab a supporter, knowing that you could waste your V-Star power, or just hope that, just hoping that the Entei is bulky enough? There's not any other damage modification in Elliot's deck list with the Defiance Band currently turned off.
It's going to be doing 210, so not ideal here for Elliot. Just a quick shuffle of the hand, puts down a Radiant Charizard of his own.
Yeah, can start manually attaching to this now as well. Both players utilizing this powerful Radiant Pokemon. Wants
to thin down that hand as much as possible, but has an Iono, plays it down there, putting himself down to 4 cards in hand. However, not a problem when you have Industrious Incisors, Joe.
Yeah, that's the big reason why we see Big Barrel utilized here. You want to be the one disrupting your opponent, and knowing that you can top up is never a bad thing. Do see finally Nest Ball come into the hand, so we can get another Charmander onto this board, start establishing another threat here, because I think that's vital for Elliot.
Yeah. Wants to establish maybe another Charizard EX. We can expect to see a Charmander coming down here, and that's exactly what we're going to see.
Yeah, whilst it's still safeguarded via this Jirachi, it's still going to be handy to get it into the mix, I feel. It's going to be the promotional Charmander coming in, popularized by Azul, I think, from a few regionals back.
Going to be able to use the Magna Basin as well, playing the fire energy, of course.
Well, would you? Do you want to damage your own guys?
No,
maybe onto Radiant Charizard. That would be the only real target. But I don't think there's even any fire in the discard pile right now.
No.
But something to keep an eye out for, you're right, because it could weave in Radiant Charizard maybe a turn earlier than expected.
Could come as an option. Here we see another Bidoof in the hand as well.
I think you'd have to hold on to this right now. Only 60 hit points on the one in hand. So just a couple cards.
Counter Catcher, Rare Candy. Rare Candy.
Not great. They're
fantastic.
Pieces.
Yeah.
You've got Luminion for next turn.
They're pieces for the combo for sure.
I think you have to accept that you're just going to swing into this Entei for not quite enough damage.
Yeah, unfortunate. And with no way to kind of manipulate the bench, add damage to it, it's quite an unfortunate turn there for Elliot. Only doing that 210, like you said. Not
Luke's
quite
pretty
enough.
happy with that Iono. Has drawn into a number of switching cards and has some supporters now as well. So the refresh was very welcomed for Luke. Let's see how he can capitalize on this.
Switching into the Iron Valiant, of course, with the free retreat with that future energy booster. And here we see the Tachyon Bits.
And there still is a board space open, so if we can work towards Medicham, that's definitely a line available.
That's such a strong Iono as well.
It's really helped him out.
Iono is a lie, Joe, it turns out. Double Research, Colress. I think there was an energy in there as well.
Can escape rope proactively. Isn't going to. He's just happy to 2-hit KO this Charizard. That means you're not quite as committed towards a Medicham play, of course.
Drawing a fresh 7 cards there. Escape Rope, another Iron Valiant, a couple of energy, Magma Basin.
Proving wise as there wasn't a way to get towards a Medicham play this turn.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't Medicham until the Jirachi's dealt with, obviously.
We have seen a lot of these Iron Valiants playing Toy Catcher, which could be an option. However, I don't think...
Not in the deck list.
No, not in the deck list here.
That's only at your locals, Ben.
I just wanted to mention Toy Catcher, Joe.
Someone play it, please. It works so well against you.
Please. Everybody has a story.
We've all been toy catching at one point, right?
And here we see fresh 7, of course, from that Research Nest Ball just being used to grab that Entei V manual attachment onto the Radiant Charizard. But it's going to be able to take the knockout here on that Charizard EX with that Entei, putting himself 1 prize ahead of Elliot. Fleet footing here, drawn 1. VIP pass, not much use.
No. But again, keeping up with this prize race quite nicely. Now, once again, ahead, forcing Elliot to have some rare candy combinations, or again, maybe utilizing that Magma Basin for his own Radiant Charizard response here.
But as we all know, it's dangerous when Charizard EX, comes down on a few prizes. It's doing, its damage is only increasing, right?
That's true. Let's see what Elliot can construct here. Oh, interesting. There's a Delphox V in Elliot's deck list. Not necessarily perfect right now, but is a solid option in the deck.
Attachment
certainly a surprise factor card.
Yeah, of course, the Combustion Blast now live with that manual attachment.
Luke's getting towards this dangerous territory where Jirachi is just going to be fodder at some point, freely via abilities. And it would just have to punch through a Charizard EX if Elliot's able to form on this turn. That's the risk of using Luminion here for Arven for Ultra Ball, because then you'd be putting down an easy 2-prize Pokemon for Luke to possibly capitalize on with their own Radiant Charizard.
He's you might have to, idea,
yeah, you might have to hold the entire hand, honestly. There's a real argument to just say, can I use Luminion for Iono proactively this turn? Because you don't mind this Entei having the energy, because they can always come up with Radiant Charizard anyway, so maybe just bringing up one of these Iron Valiant is reasonable here.
With the Entei on such low HP, though,
he's getting rid of the nice artwork, Ben.
You're joking.
I wanted to keep that one in play.
I told him to do that. Let's go for the shiny.
It's going to be a barrel for 1 card.
Yeah. And with such low HP on the Entei, he is able to knock it out with maybe a Charmeleon, right?
Sure.
Or a Charmander, even.
Yeah, yeah.
But we see here the countercatcher onto the Iron Valiant. And, of course, using that, thinning down the hand, making that industrious sizes that much better. Drawing one more. Unfortunately, unable to find a supporter. Definitely.
You can see it's precarious.
Yeah,
Elliot is holding on to a real monster. It doesn't look like it because you're holding on to the rare candy combo.
If you ever played Elliot, he's always shuffling his hand, and you're always like, what's in your mind? What are you thinking about, Elliot?
Go on, tell me.
I've got a game.
I had it in hand. Here we go, back over to Luke then. Has some potential to Valiant through Jirachi.
Yeah.
What else can we construct here?
But with no 2 prizes on Elliot's board, Luke is unable to take turns, take games, with some Yoga Loop shenanigans or
I think it's just going to be Charizard into Charizard most likely this turn. Yeah. I think Luke is holding on to Boss's orders, so maybe that's a debate for them as well. Can you weave one in? Going to see some Tachyon bits now from the lovely Full Art Iron Valiant.
Yeah, difficult position for Luke. You have the Jet Energy as well.
I think holding on to Boss's orders is your best play, honestly. Just go through the Radiant Charizard now from Elliot and just say that you can Boss's orders barrel in combination with finishing off as Jirachi as your prize map.
Yeah, and with saving that Luminion in hand, this next turn is going to be... Well, he already has the Ultra Ball from the prizes.
Yeah, the prizes helped him out. So Ultra Ball, Rare Candy is in hand. Now Luminion is going to be the game for Boss's orders. I think Elliot's got there.
Yeah.
Luke's done everything to create a 2-prize map where you can finish off with Iron Valiant, but I'm pretty sure as long as Elliot's aware of the counts and what's in deck, should be able to use Boss's orders to close out the game here in combination with Rare Candy Charizard. The prizes of Ultra Ball were massive.
He's doubting himself, promoting the Jirachi?
You're able to do this because Charizard accelerates 3 energy anyway. Yeah. So as long as you still have 3 energy in the deck, it doesn't hurt you.
Charizard even comes to the hand. Off the top.
Is Elliot trying to flex with Delphox?
Yeah, Rare Candy already in hand.
I'm pretty sure we're there, and it's just going to go through the motions now.
Ultra Ball.
This Ultra Ball is literally just to scout the deck. How many fire energy are left right now?
Have I got Boss? Have I got fire energy? Have I got game here? That's what he's going to be asking himself. Collapse Stadium, Battle VIP pass hitting the discard pile. Search through the deck there. Let's have a look, Joe. Boss's orders in there.
Don't tell me there's 2 fire energy.
1 fire energy.
Ben, please.
Hold on to me, Joe.
My heart.
1.
There's only one energy in the deck. Ah, that's a problem.
And promoting the Jirachi, no pivot either.
Yeah, what do you do in this position? We thought it was...
This is awkward. We thought this was all over. Does have Jet Energy, but unfortunately not realistically a pivot, right? Because...
Doesn't allow you to attack with Charizard EX.
2 fire energy requirement for that Burning Darkness attack.
Oh, putting Luminion down opens you up to Boss's orders as well now. You might have to go Luminion for Iono and hope this Charizard with 2 energy is difficult to retreat and attack with.
Has another Charmander on board as well, so that was still insurance.
Here comes Luminion. It has to be Iono here, I think.
Opting for the Arven.
Can we Arven for Super Rod for the game?
Super Rod is in deck.
But we can't Boss's orders at the same time. It's going to be for Super Rod. We still have our V-Star Power.
Super Rod Vitality
Band. Is there no access to Forest Hill Stone here?
No, I think... no, he still doesn't have Gust. Getting ahead of myself.
Forest Hill Stone for Escape Rope would be the game.
Yeah.
As well, don't forget. Elliot's piecing something together. See 3 energy coming back now for the Super Rod. That was mandatory. Don't know if I can see. Is the rope in hand? Oh, the Delphox can do it.
Delphox can do it. Rare Candy into Charizard.
Can we do it? Do we have enough energy? 2 onto the Delphox. It requires 3 energy. Oh, the Magma Basin! Clutching it out. That's incredible. We did find the way in the end from Elliot. The sneaky Delphox V getting into the mix, finishing off the damaged Entei V. What an incredible use of Magical Fire.
Delphox taking the game with Magical Fire. The tech cards, Joe, sometimes they come up. They're trumping. Luke Doran there with the attack on the bench. Something we didn't see.
Well, yeah. Normally you're expecting to see Delphox get into the mix, taking out multiple single prize Pokemon. You don't always expect it on Entei. And let's not forget that this was probably part of Elliot's game plan.
Yeah.
Because they chose to countercatcher a different 2-prize Pokemon on the previous turn.
Yeah.
So they wanted that Entei to be on the board for this avenue of play. And with only 1 energy in the deck, we were still able to find a combination with Arven to Super Rod those energies back and get Delphox in the mix.
It took us a while, but we got there.
It took me a while.
It took us a while, but we got there. It took Elliot a while, I think, to
That's
figure
what
out.
made me nervous.
Yes. What am I doing again?
Yeah.
Had the Delphox in hand, of course, but with that Super Rod, the Arven came up there. The Luminion as well had that, kept it clutch in the hand for that last turn. Explosive, and Elliot puts himself only 1 game away from top 8.
With plenty of time on the clock as well. Luke can turn this around.
Yeah.
Let's not forget this matchup can be better. There was no Squawkabilly access in that opening turn, so far less explosive than you would expect from the Entei Iron Valiant deck list. So let's not write him off yet. There's still plenty of opportunities for this archetype because it has so many tricks up its own sleeve.
Yeah, of course. A bad start from Elliot could come into play here,
Sure.
you know.
Well, who goes first is the first question.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, a bad start, you have to put down the 60 HP Pokemon, you know, you have to put down these low HP basics, you know. This is where Iron Valiant then really shines.
Yeah.
And of course, with the Squawkabilly, you know, having the chance to play a supporter first, maybe, you know, who goes first, like you said. You know, it's interesting to see how Luke approaches this now.
Yeah, still so much more action in this final round of Swiss. Charizard coming up clutch in that last game. Let's see how Luke reacts. My first question is, who is going to be starting off here? Does Luke force Elliot to go first and try and give yourself as much reach as possible? Elliot with the Luminion lead and is forced first.
Not fantastic from Elliot. Probably the worst starter, I would have thought, in that deck.
And there's just a Bidoof, I think.
And not much going on. Forest Stone on the Luminion.
Where's everything else?
Save me, Forest Seal, please. And
Battle VIP pass.
You would imagine that would be
Let's
the
get some
option
Charmander in here.
Now, this is really interesting, right? Because what do you go for here? If this is going to be your only 2 basic Pokemon for this turn, do you put down 2 Charmander, or do you put down a Charmander Bidoof?
I think Bidoof's in hand, but then even in that same question, do you even want to get Jirachi in the mix? Because if you get Yogaloot, you're in huge trouble. So maybe it's 1 Charmander, 1 Jirachi, 1 Bidoof, and say that if escape ropes come, you kind of just gulp.
A lot required here from
It's going to be VIP double Charmander by the looks of things.
Yeah. Having that insurance for next turn, just in case Luke was to have an explosive turn. We see here the Bidoof. Oh, 60 HP
60
Bidoof.
hit pointer.
Yeah.
Tom's playing 1 of each. Sorry, Elliot, I should say. And
with that 60 HP Bidoof coming down, Luke will actually playing in, is it Christmas? Because that's 60 HP, right? Let me pick that up.
Oh, wow. And with this hand, it's looking pretty good for Luke as well. I saw Squawkabilly, I saw Nest Ball, and some switching outs. There's already the Future Booster Energy Capsule onto the active Iron Valiant. So we should be having an explosive turn 1 here for Luke.
Strong
already
start.
eyeing up another Iron Valiant EX here.
Yeah, strong start from Luke. Another Iron Valiant coming down, like he said, from that Nest Ball. Didn't get an exact peek of the hand, but there were lots of options there.
The only thing that's a small headache for Luke is that the technical machine devolution is in this opening hand.
Yes.
So you have to get rid of it if you want to Squawkabilly and see some fresh cards here. It's a crucial tech card for actually this matchup, I feel like, more than any other. And the fact that you have to burn it means that you really have to draw well from your Squawkabilly to make it pay off and allow your tempo to take control of this game instead.
Do you go for the explosive, turn? Do you play the Squawkabilly and just go, right, I'm just going to get rid of this tech? I'm confident in what I'm going to draw here. Yeah. I'm just going to, find as many switching outs as I can, get that Entei attack off maybe. And here we see the Tachyon Bits.
Give me that Bidoof.
Let's
me deny
that
the draw
Bidoof,
engine.
please.
As you said, only 60 hit points. Have double switch carts.
20 damage, please.
Yeah, and it is going to be the Squawkabilly. One thing that sets the TM devolution aside from most other tools is that they get discarded immediately, so you can't just bank that on one of your Valiants for later use. It would discard regardless, so it's going to get thrown away immediately here.
We see another Iron Valiant, not much going on otherwise. If Nestball would have been brilliant in that hand with the double turbo.
Loop. Can we draw any cards from Fleet-footed here? No supporter.
No supporter either.
That is rough.
That is not a great hand. But
you can see a prize card.
I would have thought so.
Yeah. We can see a prize card here with Iron Valiant. Maybe this helps out.
Another Iron Valiant. Okay. Bringing the boys back in town.
Is it just going to be another fleet-footed into the active position here to just start drawing more cards?
It needs to start drawing, yeah. It needs to start going through that deck to try and find any other supporter to try and help him set up.
No supporter played, so this is a big fleet-footed. Fire energy isn't great. You can swing it onto the active if you really want to.
Another Iron Valiant. That's all 4 now on the field for Luke.
I do like attaching an energy, because obviously there's a double turbo also in the hand. You can just manually attach to this Entei over 2 turns.
Debating the switch into the 4th Iron Valiant.
Yeah, I think wanting to protect this Entei perhaps as well. We saw that Elliot was able to go for Defiance Band plus Candy Zard and just respond on an Entei. This protects your attachment that little bit more. With no basin or anything in the hand, this does make sense. It's going to pass things over.
Pass things over to Elliot.
So no draw power, but does have Rare Candy and Arven, so there will be a Charizard coming onto this board.
Yeah, and with 1 prize down, it's going to make that Burning Darkness attack that more effective.
Could be the repeat of last game, where we see damage modifier plus Charizard take an immediate 2 prize swing back in your direction.
Here we see the Ultra Ball being at the front of the deck. Just looking through the deck just once more. What are my outs? How many energy do I have? What are my options here?
Is there any damage mod in the deck? I don't know if Defiance Band is available, actually. Obviously, you're playing a handful of tools in the deck list. No, maybe in the prize cards.
No, it must be in the prize cards.
That makes the turn a lot less exceptional.
Having to opt for the TM Evolution.
Unless it's already in the hand, or if there's counter capture in the hand, possibly that could also be strong. You could bring Squawkabilly up early.
Ultra Balling away the TM Evolution. Obviously had one already in hand.
We have the Rare Candy option.
Yeah. We have the...
So Charizard's here. It's just
Charizard's
not going to be accompanied with a KO. Counter Catcher's not in hand either. That's in the deck right now. So it's not ideal.
No, it's not ideal.
The good news is you've seen the Technical Machine Evolution hit the discard pile. That's the good news for you. We can retreat this Lumineon, get a swing in, and you know that Charizard is as bulky as it seems. It's not going to get wiped off the board immediately by your opponent with a little sneaky Devo play. Essentially has to go onto the active unless you want to turn attach.
Yeah.
You could just... 3 energy to the Charizard. Elliot does know how to make some plays.
Yeah, does he have pivot in hand here? Attachment onto the Charmander, hoping to maybe get a manual attachment into an evolution.
Maybe even just protect Charizard. If you're not able to take 2 prizes now, I'll just try and cash in later.
Yeah.
It's Charmander. I think there is Rope in hand. That's the reason.
In hand.
Luke, of course, can just bring up another Iron Valiant.
Yeah.
Have the same situation. It's always a good thing to think about when your opponent knows, well, actually at this stage you can bring up the future booster because you actually had no pivot in your hand at all, so this actually helps Luke.
Yeah, there's not much of a threat from the Burning Darkness. Not going to be taking any knockouts. So here
just
we
the
see
210 from the Burning Darkness.
And now over to Luke.
You still need top
Draw
decks,
full
by the
turn.
way.
Yeah, of course.
Another fire energy is
Another
not
fire
what we're
energy.
after. We already had energy,
Not helpful.
so it's going to be a big fleet-footed.
Yeah.
You're happy to start setting up the 2-shot on Charizard. That was basically always part of your plan, but we need more than this.
With the energy already on the Entei, just requires a manual treatment, so no magma basin requirements here. Here we see
Nest Ball is
Nest
air
Ball.
as well.
Yeah, not great. Can't even be used with that full bench, of course.
There's not much gas in the tank,
No.
but again, you've only taken one prize card. Sometimes it's beneficial to keep Charizard at this low damage output threshold.
200 damage now on that Charizard.
Elliot's going to have a think. I think there's a Churro in the hand.
Yeah.
And they're just making sure they've got the right amount of damage counters.
180.
Overall here. The Churro scenario, you can pick up and then just Charizard again on the Charmeleon that you evolved on the previous turn. You could also use Boss's Orders.
Yeah, can take knockout here on the Iron Valiant on the bench.
The thing about the Churro is you're still stalemating because you're still 2-hit KOing. Oh, it's actually just Professor's Research.
It's research, yeah.
My apologies. It is the Churro version of Professor's Research, and he is playing Professor Churro in his deck list as well.
Opts not to put down the Charmander, the 60 HP, of course. Realizing, look, I've got my attackers on board here. Radiant Charizard all still in the deck.
Yeah,
So,
and no Jirachi to protect either against Medicham. Those kind of have to go together. If you want to start putting more basics down, you need that Jirachi to come alongside it, I think.
Yeah, and Nest Ball being played. I think he's eyeing up that Jirachi.
Also just scouting how many fire energy are remaining in the deck. That was the only limiting factor in him in that previous game.
So important when playing this Charizard EX. You're so reliant on having energy available in the deck with that Infernal Rain ability. Main engine, of course, and main energy manipulation, I suppose.
Take another scout through the deck here. Again, a counter-catcher pickup would be pretty huge for Elliot. Don't know if it was found from the Professor's Research here. That'd be the way that you make the most out of your Charizard this turn.
Yeah.
Not there, I don't think.
No, not taking knockout either against this Entei.
We've seen, though, that damaging a few things can allow the Delphox to get into the mix, and I think we're actually seeing it come onto the bench now.
Yeah, because he will be
that
taking...
That could be what you power up this turn with Charizard.
Opening up the 4 prize card turn with Magical Fire. Of course, 120 on the active, 120 on the bench.
Show me Magical Fire.
Show me the money.
Here it is, another attachment to Charmeleon. Oh, I'm really debating it.
Yeah.
It's just going to be the hit into Entei instead here for that 210.
Yeah.
Elliot has lined up 4 prize cards worth of attack with Delphox at a different point, at a later date.
Yeah. I really want to ask him how many times he's had this game plan come up.
Well, I feel like the Entei Valiants actually try this all the time. I think they're trying to stay out of range of Charizard and doing all this work and trying to keep them away from a 3-attack game plan. So I think it happens the Entei side quite a lot.
Yeah.
But that makes the Delphox pick a really, really smart one for this weekend.
Yeah, of course. Bringing all the techs, Elliot, and here we see the switch cards. You'd imagine into the Iron Valiant, one of 4.
just one of your 4.
Yeah.
There's Jet Energy in the hand as well. There's double Turbo Energy in the hand. So you can get in the mix with Jet Energy onto your future boosted Valiant, so you can get some more damage in. It's going to be onto the Charmeleon. Looks like it's just going to be Entei coming back in, finishing off this Charizard.
That Charmeleon taking 40 damage from those Tachyon bits. And here we see the retreat into Entei, taking
a big burning
2
Rondo.
prizes, yeah, huge.
Finishing off this Charizard. And it's looking okay for Luke right now, although Elliot has got a really sneaky turn coming up, I think.
I'm begging to see this full prize cut turn.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to happen this turn.
No.
If you do gust around the Entei this turn, then Luke could try and use Radiant Charizard anyway. So you're having to find Gust on a couple of occasions, I would think. And they're just making sure whether or not Elliot has drawn before promoting. Or shuffled before using a Bull Search here. Always good to keep on top of things before you start drawing the cards. Better safe than sorry here.
Just a quick shuffle
Obviously, Luke hasn't played Iono. They don't play it in the deck list, so there's no shame. There's no harm in just shuffling to be safeguarded.
Draw of turn into a Bidoof. I'd like to see another Charmander come down here as an insurance.
We have Charizard EX. We already have Delphox. I think Bidoof is solid here as well. If you can afford to discard cards that aren't the Big Barrel now,
Yeah.
that could be pretty handy. Looks like Big Barrel might be the sacrifice, though. Every card in the hand is useful.
Opting for the Battle VIP pass, the barrel. Quick associated attack. Maybe also the Radiant Charizard is an option as well.
A lot of options. We've got Boss's Orders in the hand, so it could be Boss's Orders this turn. Take out one of the undamaged 2-prize Pokemon that Luke has on the other side of the field. You use your Charizard, you hope to tank with the Charizard for a turn.
Yeah.
And then you're setting up the Delphox win condition. We have to put Delphox proactively onto this board, I feel like, because you want to use the acceleration from Radiant Charizard, from Charizard EX, I should say. That's the only slight hiccup, is that it can be disrupted by Luke using Boss's Orders on their own end. But this is creating a really interesting situation now, where Elliot will be taking 2 prizes, but then just being 1 attack away with a Delphox V, as we are going to see the Infernal Rain coming down from this Charizard EX now.
Here we see the
3 energy in the deck.
3 energy
1
required.
to turn attach as well.
Yeah. 3 energy required for that Infernal Rain.
Looking like a really strong option. Yeah. Boss's Order is one of the final cards in this hand for Elliot.
So is able to, like you said, take a knockout on one of these fresh Pokemon on the bench. You know, you've got a choice here, 3 Iron Valiant and a Squawkabilly.
I hope he doesn't take the nice artwork again.
No.
That would really be upsetting.
That would really annoy me, actually.
You all want to see it.
I mean, you weren't meant to do it, obviously.
It is Boss's Orders from Elliot here. Oh, you love to see that. Yeah.
Such a gentleman.
Going to keep all the artwork of Iron Valiant EX available. As the Charizard is going to take an attack. And now Elliot is actually 1 attack away. He has to try and line things up with Delphox quite critically. But this is a lot of pressure for Luke now. He has to deal with a Charizard EX and the rest. There's still a lot of prizes to take. Yeah.
1 attack away here from taking game with that Magical Fire. However, it's dependent on Luke promoting that Entei unless you have Gust, right?
Yeah, the idea here is that if you can use enough Valiants to put Charizard EX into range of a Radiant Charizard, that would be ideal. Or if you can use Boss's Orders, that would be ideal. But the hand isn't getting you very close, I'll tell you that much. We've got no supporters in the hand. You really don't want to fleet-footed with your Entei.
No.
Because that is not, you do not want that in the active position at all.
Does have the Radiant Charizard as an option.
This is the ideal attacker for the situation.
2 energy required, though, of course, with Elliot only taking 2 prizes. And with no Magma Basin on the field.
Just even more headache for Luke here.
Yeah, just more requires. Bravery Charm not even going to help you against that.
We're going to have a look at, we're going to have a read of Delphox. How terrified of this card do I have to be?
How worried am I?
It's 120 damage always to the active, and then you get to choose the bench damage for 120 as well. I think Luke is realizing that this is a problem. This is definitely intimidating. I think also just double checking on the Bravery Charm if that could offset some math, but it doesn't look like it can in this spot.
I don't think so.
Luke cannot risk going for Entei.
Another Tachyon
so
Bits.
it is going to go for a Tachyon Bits instead. You can turn attach and retreat into Radiant Charizard if you want to.
Onto the Delphox, but no Gust in hand.
Giving up another 2-prize Pokemon is just still a huge issue here.
Both Pokemon posing such a threat, the Charizard and the Delphox.
It feels bad to give up Radiant Charizard without getting value out of it.
Yeah.
But we may be at that stage. You could Bravery Charm your active, just passes.
And just a pass. Oof, pretty rough for Luke. And with no Gust in hand already for Elliot, probably wishing he would have kept onto that Big Barrel.
Well, he had to go down to 0 basically from the Ultra Ball, so he couldn't do anything else. And it still is in a fantastic position. There's nothing wrong with just announcing an attack here. I think that's really solid.
Yeah.
Announce the attack.
Going to be putting himself down to
seems solid.
2 prizes. Defiance Band coming down.
Possibly.
Possibly, perhaps. You're teasing us, Elliot. Come on.
You're also just really happy to get rid of some of these Iron Valiant. As these go down, you feel safer and safer from Luke taking a surprise 3-prize turn here.
And taking the knockouts Elliot putting himself only 2 prizes away from taking one of these top 8 spots here in Gdańsk.
It's a boss's orders pick up for Luke. Finally a supporter. Not drawing cards though. Can it safeguard you for just one more turn?
Does have
Can
that
bring up the
gust.
2 retreat cost
Yeah.
Bidoof. That is the cost of having to have an extra 10 hit points.
Does have the gust, but wishing he probably would have had that last turn.
You can bring up a Bidoof, try and get some tachyon bits on it, trying to use multiple of those over 2 turns for a 1 prize, then look to have gust again on a following turn. Ente's going up to 280 hit points now with Bravery Charm.
That's a big dog.
That's something that can tank a Burning Darkness right now, let's not forget, and it does allow you to fleet-foot.
Preying on his fleet-footed, drawing 1. Escape rope.
Not ideal at all.
No.
Boss's orders to Bidoof does still feel like the safest bet here. Even though your Entei can tank, you can be put in a really awkward position if your opponent just has access to Lost Vacuum, let's not forget. And Elliot has it in hand.
Try to see if he can get any value out of these tachyon birds. And just a pass. And
Elliot draws after. He has so many ways to win there. There was the Lost Vacuum in the hand,
and doing
but
it
going to
in
use
style.
Delphox instead. The magical fire from Delphox coming in clutch in games 1 and 2 there. Really impressive display. A really unique deck list as well. It's not enough to say no to Pidgeot and yes to Bibarel, but also the intricate inclusions of the Delphox, the difference between the Bidoof. That's what these things come down to sometimes. These sorts of margins are massive, and all of these decisions are coming up trumps for Elliot this weekend.
These tiny differences is so exciting to see, but I'm absolutely elated for Elliot.
We're meant to be unbiased here, Ben.
I know. If you know him, though, he's put in so much effort, so much dedication, as many of our other competitors.
They're all doing that.
They're all doing that. But, you know, it's a chance to make a name for himself, you know, like we always talk about, you know.
Elliot has, he's an unsung hero of the Pokemon TCG. People in the UK know him. He's been waiting for this regional breakout performance.